A bold economic declaration from Islamabad. The finance minister has stated that boosting defense exports is the new core strategy to end the country's chronic reliance on IMF bailouts. Citing recent successes in selling hardware to Africa and the Gulf, the government aims to triple defense revenues by 2028. Officials argue that high-value military production offers the only viable path to closing the trade deficit without relying on restrictive foreign loans. In a massive boost for the defense sector, sources have confirmed a procurement package between Pakistan and Saudi Arabia valued at $4 billion. Unlike previous cash deposits, this deal is strictly hardware for capital. It involves Riyadh purchasing Pakistani-manufactured munitions, drone systems, and training services for its National Guard, securing a vital injection of hard currency that directly strengthens Pakistan's industrial base. Islamabad has issued what it terms a final call to the interim Afghan government regarding the Doha agreement. In a stern diplomatic communique, Pakistan warned that Kabul's failure to prevent militant groups from using Afghan soil for cross-border attacks is a direct violation of the 2020 accord. The statement implies that if the status quo of negligence continues, Pakistan may cease advocating for the Taliban's international recognition, and consider unilateral security measures. The economic toll of the security crisis on the western border has been quantified. A joint report by the Ministry of Commerce and Trade Unions reveals that the recurring closures of the Pakistan-Afghanistan border are costing the economy $177 million every month. These losses stem from the spoilage of perishable goods, demurrage charges on stranded containers, and the diversion of Central Asian transit trade to Iranian ports, devastating the local economies of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and Balochistan. From Gwadar to Washington, this is PAC Geo Defense Update, Pakistan's voice in the world of defense and geopolitics. Please subscribe. We move to a critical development in CPEC security. Beijing has presented Islamabad with a strict list of verified counter-terror demands. Following a joint investigation into recent security breaches, Beijing is moving beyond general assurances. They are now demanding specific operational changes, including the deployment of Chinese private security contractors at key project sites and the establishment of a joint counter-terror command center. Diplomatic insiders say the message is clear: the progress of CPEC Phase 2 inches and future energy investments are now strictly conditional on the verified implementation of these enhanced security protocols. In a surprising geopolitical twist, Pakistan has entered quiet negotiations with U.S. defense contractors regarding the supply of antimony. Antimony is a critical semi-metal essential for producing armor-piercing ammunition, night vision goggles, and batteries. With China controlling the vast majority of the global supply and restricting exports, the Pentagon is aggressively seeking alternative sources. Pakistan, which sits on significant untapped reserves in Balochistan, is positioning itself as a strategic partner in the U.S. supply chain. If signed, this mining deal would integrate Pakistan into the U.S. defense industrial base, offering a new lever of influence in Washington that bypasses traditional diplomatic hurdles. Turning to the Western Hemisphere, the situation in Venezuela has escalated into direct conflict. Reports confirm a limited U.S. military intervention is underway. Under the banner of stabilizing regional energy security, U.S. naval assets have established a blockade off the Venezuelan coast, and Special Operations Forces have reportedly secured key oil terminals to prevent sabotage amidst the country's governmental collapse. Washington terms this a protective measure, but regional leaders have condemned it as an invasion. The move has sent oil prices spiking and drawn sharp rebukes from Moscow and Beijing, raising fears of a proxy clash in the Caribbean. On the European front, the war in Ukraine has entered a darker, more dangerous phase. Russian forces have launched a massive, coordinated winter offensive, utilizing new hypersonic missiles that have overwhelmed air defenses in major cities. In response, NATO has authorized the deployment of long-range strike capabilities deeper into Russian territory than ever before. The red lines that governed the conflict for years are evaporating. Intelligence reports suggest the sheer intensity of this new wave of combat is depleting ammunition stocks on both sides at an unsustainable rate, pushing the conflict toward a potentially nuclear tipping point as diplomatic off-ramps disappear. A historic thaw in South Asia. High-level delegations from Pakistan and Bangladesh have met in Dhaka to discuss a potential defense pact. The agenda was dominated by Bangladesh's interest in the JF-17 Thunder Block III fighter jet. As Dhaka seeks to modernize its air force and reduce reliance on Russian hardware due to sanctions, the cost-effective, NATO interoperable JF-17 has emerged as a top contender. Beyond the hardware, the talks covered joint naval exercises and officer exchange programs. Analysts call this a monumental shift, signaling that the two nations are moving past the bitterness of 1971 to forge a pragmatic security relationship, driven by shared regional concerns. Chaos in the Arabian Peninsula. The leader of Yemen's Southern Transitional Council, STC, has reportedly fled Aden following violent clashes with rival factions. Regional sources confirm he has sought refuge in a neighboring Gulf state as his compound was overrun. This power vacuum threatens to collapse the fragile peace deal in southern Yemen, potentially reopening a chaotic front in the ongoing civil war just as international mediators were pushing for a permanent ceasefire. The flight of the separatist leader leaves his forces in disarray, raising the spectre of renewed urban warfare in Aden. Finally, a significant corporate withdrawal from Kabul. Bank Alfalah has officially announced its exit from the Afghan market. The bank is winding down its operations and transferring liabilities to a local entity, Ghaznfar Bank, following the receipt of final regulatory approvals from both Pakistani and Afghan central banks. Executives cited the deteriorating regulatory environment, the impossibility of compliance with international sanctions, and rising operational costs as reasons for the departure. This exit is a major blow to the regional economy. As one of the last remaining channels for legitimate trade finance, Bank Alfalah handled a significant volume of Pakistan's exports to Afghanistan, including citrus, cement, and pharmaceuticals. Its departure effectively forces traders into the unregulated grey market or hawala system to process payments, driving up costs and further isolating Afghan businesses from the global financial grid. That's enough for today. Share your thoughts in comments section, and please answer today's question.